Hello and welcome along to episode 5 of this FM20 Beta Saver Top Hat with me, Daniel. We're back today slightly later than planned with Luton Town, a little bit later in the January transfer window, and we're playing the first and possibly only Premier League club of this save as we go to Bournemouth in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Notoriously play weaker sides in this competition, so I'm hoping that's reflected in real life, and if so we might be able to nick a victory today and get ourselves famously to the last 16. Again, apologies for the slightly squeaky tone, we still haven't recovered yet, so there's a little bit of a croak in the voice, but we start today on the screen of Brendon Galloway, just to show you how good a trainer he's been really, always near the top of the training report, continually improving and starting to become the player he once promised to be. Don't forget, for about half a season he was first choice at Everton in the Premier League, he's also played at West Brom at that level, and he's got 3 under-21 caps for England, so at 23 he should be finding his potential now, and he is starting to train that way. He's not had much trouble with injuries this year either, something that's always dogged him in the past, so I'm hoping he'll be through the worst of it now and he will be able to be as top player for the rest of the season. But the other reason we're here is to not spoil any of the transfers or our recent form in the league. Of course you expect us to be embroiled in a relegation battle, and we'll go and take a look at our progress of that in a second. But firstly, a massive thank you to everyone who's following along with this series. I really do appreciate your support with the beta save. If you are enjoying it, then please do put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content, including 5 episodes a week from our long-term story. I have almost decided for certain now that this will conclude at the end of this season, and then we will be bringing back our long-term series, The Head Coach. I really have enjoyed it in the last couple of years, and we had a fascinating tale with that one last year, so hopefully this one will be just as good, and the first episode's already recorded. That was done when the voice was still good, so you won't have to worry about the croak in that one. But for now, we're all about saving Luton Town, and today having a bit of a free swing in the cup. So let's go and have a look at our home screen just to see how we're getting on in the league. And I can confirm we're still above the safety line, 19th place on 31 points, just above that point a game ratio. We've got QPR, Nottingham Forest, and Charlton down in the bottom 3, and Swansea down there with them as well. And we've got a few points of a gap now. That's because of a crucial win in the last game, our home to Derby, who are directly below us, and that ended a run of a long time without a victory. I think it was 7 league games in total. It was. Our last victory was away at Stoke, a game I was originally going to show on camera, but unfortunately Nathan Jones the Snake had already been sacked, so I don't think it would have been worthwhile. There is a little bit of talk and rumours about him coming back to Luton in real life, so let's hope that doesn't happen. You don't want a manager back you can't trust. But you were with me last time for that game against Leeds, a really good performance at home. We fought so hard against the top side, we just didn't quite have the quality in the end, but we followed it up with a crucial win against Charlton, who of course are at the bottom of the league now. 2-1 flattered them with a 90th minute goal, Izzy Brown getting his first for the club, James Collins continuing his good run, and we look really good value for our victory, something we can very much be proud of. You are going to see in a moment a couple of the signings as well, once we get to those games in January, so that's going to be a little bit of a pleasant surprise. But we followed the Charlton game up with a game in London which we were defeated. Sonny Bradley with a late consolation, but we never looked like getting a point, so unfortunately we fell to defeat there. But then a really good 0-0 draw at home to Wigan. We were outclassed, but the lads fought so hard. Izzy Brown again having a good game. He just started to find a bit of form there. But then a 1-0 win away at Stoke, probably the best result of the season for us. Again, look who it was scoring the winner off the bench. Kazenga Lawar, the super impact substitute. 5 goals this season now, and he's been absolutely brilliant off the bench. However, what followed that wasn't quite so good. 7 successive games without victory in the league. Firstly was a 3-1 defeat at Preston, Harry Cornick getting a consolation in that one. Then a 0-0 draw at home to struggling Swansea, which was important at the time. It kept that gap at 5 points. Now of course it's 8 and it's looking a bit more rosy, but 3 of the bottom 4 have got a game in hand on us. Then a narrow defeat against Fulham, 86th minute from Anthony Knockaert, a winner after Villar gave us a first half lead. Another player who was a contender for the first shot of the episode actually, a brilliant player who's improving in training, and he could be the best $500,000 we've ever spent. But then following that one, we lost 4-0 at Bristol City, probably our low point of the season after West Brom. A really terrible performance, and we got absolutely outclassed, and a mid-table side putting us to the sword. Then Millwall away, we got a crucial 0-0 draw, and then a narrow victory at home to Blackpool in the FA Cup. Callum O'Dowda with a goal for a very rotated side, and Blackpool arguably the better of the two teams. Then a 1-0 defeat at home to Birmingham, Birmingham. They're right up there in the playoff chase this year. Maxime Collin, a player we remember fondly from the head coach in FM19, he did a really good job for them in that one. And then on a 1-1 draw away to Forest from the bottom three, again keeping that distance between the chasing pack. James Collins with an early penalty to end a goal drought again. He'd started to find a bit of form. And then at home to Derby, have a look again. A 93rd minute winner for James Collins. Richard Keogh still at the club, of course, in this save. He got sent off with 10 to go. And a brace for Collins, including that last gasp victory, was a really brilliant moment for us. It just gave me that confidence that we were going to survive. One, because it ended that long winless run. Secondly, it ended Collins' goal drought in style. And thirdly, we keep having that spirit in the last second. Former Luton man Jack Marriott getting the goal for Derby. But it wasn't going to stop us on this day. And it gave us that little 8-point cushion. So we've got Bournemouth today missing Pelly Ruddock with a virus. Alan Sheehan still out with his hip injury. Someone that we wouldn't have expected to play anyway. But Bournemouth missing 3 themselves. So you may have seen a couple of new faces in that run. And of course we've got 1 or 2 going out too. So let's have a look at the transfers. A couple that have pre-agreed deals with other clubs. Both in the MLS actually. So we've got James Shea going to DC United. Someone we would have liked to have kept as our backup keeper. But you can't begrudge him the move. He's going to be first choice keeper there. Going to double his wage and move to America. We can't complain. He's been a solid pro for us. But he's never going to be our first choice keeper. So he's going at the end of the season. Andrew Shiney going next week. Had a successful loan with Colorado and now he's joining them permanently. £1 million we've got for him. A really good player in real life. Probably one of my favourite Luton players. But unfortunately in this game he is underrated and we have to put head above heart. So he's going to be off, but he has brought a bit of money in, and it means we've got over £1 million to spend in the last week, and we're really going to try and find some star quality, as at the moment we're relying on loan players, and we're having to leave 1 or 2 out of the squad due to the limit. You're only allowed 5 in the matchday squad. We've got 6 or 7 good ones, so the FA Cup's going to be a rare outing for them today, but otherwise we need to find a permanent sign-in. So let's go and have a look at the outs first. There were a couple more at the club. Elliot Lee being the main one. The 11th of January he went to Sunderland. Just over 200,000. Not enough for the money he should be worth, but he's been moaning all season. He's been dragging the club down with his attitude, so it's really important that we got him out, and Sunderland were willing to take him. So he's playing in League One. He hasn't scored there yet, and we got a bit of money for our backup player. Then on the inside, a couple more loan players coming in, experienced ones at that. Chris Basham from Sheffield United, a player who was involved in VAR controversy in real life last weekend, almost got a goal chalked off for Sheffield United. We're not going to talk about the one that actually did, absolutely disgraceful scenes there. But 220 appearances for Sheffield United, 85 for Blackpool, including some in the Premier League. This guy's got wealths of experience, and he's going to come in and be our first choice defender. 31 years of age, 4-star ability, is exactly what we need. He's captain material, he's a brilliant player, and I'm hoping he'll help us above the safety line. If he does well, there's no reason he can't join next year. I think he's out of contract at Sheffield United. He's not, but he may well be transfer listed again, so it could be a chance for us to sign him. And then secondly is just a replacement backup striker, James Norwood coming in from Ipswich. Of course, scoring goals galore with brilliant celebrations in real life, but he's not quite got that same ability here. 2.5-star ability and potential, and he's just going to be there if Collins gets injured. We're not able to get him on the bench due to the loan rules, but if we need him, he can come in and start a few games. So a really big spell for us and an important January window. We've got a week left to try and bring in some players. It's probably only going to be one as I look for some real star quality, and it has to be a permanent deal if we want to succeed. The only other alternative is to get one of our current loanees on a permanent and then be able to sign another loan player, but we are a little bit restricted as we've taken most of the players we want in the window and most of the others are out of our league in wages. So there's a couple of United youngsters, both Chong and Gomez on the loan list. They'd be brilliant wingers for us to bring in, but they both want a 12 grand contribution to the wage bill and we just can't afford to offer more than 7 or 8. But as we come to the dynamic screen, you can see things have vastly improved. Alan Sheehan's now happy with our managerial support. That's gone up to average for the first time. Our team cohesion's in the green and our dressing room atmosphere's good, and the lads are starting to feel confident, though I'm sure they'll take a hit today. So let's go and get into this game against Bournemouth without any further hold up. Of course, a bit of a free swing in the FA Cup, a competition I absolutely love, Luton have had some brilliant days there. Probably my favourite ever game was away to Norwich when we were in the conference. A really brilliant day out, and we've had some pretty special results on the road. So I'm hoping Bournemouth will rest as many players as they often do in real life. They very rarely go on a cup run and quite often are on the end of a shock. We have rotated quite a bit ourselves just because we've had 2 games in the last week. The Derby one was only 2.5 days ago, so the likes of Lundstrom, Cornick, Bradley and Bree all in the reserves today, and Villar's getting a complete rest as well. He's a player that's struggling a bit for fitness. So we've got a couple of others that have come into the lineup, a few surprises I guess, but otherwise it's a pretty decent side and we'll be hoping we can get ourselves a shock. So we've got Simon Sluga continuing in goal, he's developing really well too. Craney and Potts in at fullback, they're both backup players at the moment. And then for once we get to play our best 2 centre halves together, both of them low knees of course, so Basham and Worrell playing together there. Ray and Tunnicliffe coming in central midfield, McManaman and O'Dowd are on the wings, and then Izzy Brown in behind James Collins up front, who'll be hoping to continue his good goal scoring form. So let's go and get into this game against Bournemouth and see if we can cause an almighty FA Cup shock. It's a 4-2-3-1 for us and a 4-4-1-1 for Bournemouth, and I'm very upset they've pretty much gone first choice there. I would say at least 6 or 7 of that side is the first 11. Maybe just Josh King who's left out today. The likes of Wilson and Mepham can play obviously, and Jack Stacey, a former hero at Luton, key at fullback in our 2 promotions, and he's a really good player now playing in the Premier League. We're so proud of the way he's developed. It came to us as a right winger having played only in League 2, and now he's a Premier League fullback. He really is doing our club proud. So let's go and get into the dressing room and encourage the lads. We just want to tell them to show what we're capable of, and we'll get into the first half hoping for a performance, though we know this is going to be a very difficult test. So we don't want to risk Loire. He's not ready to start after injury, and we're just resting Villa. There's nothing else behind the selection. So I think this is going to be difficult now considering Bournemouth's strong 11, but we kick off and find Potts on the left. He plays down the line to O'Dowd. We're just like a game with not many highlights, and maybe if we can just sneak a replay. It's Sluga in goal though with 90 seconds gone. That doesn't bode well for us long term. Out to McManaman on the right. His transfer listing now as is Butterfield. Neither of them really played a game for us. Journeymen who haven't been able to contribute in this game. Not rated very well in Football Manager. It's Lewis Cook back to Steve Cook at centre half. Aki out to the left to Fraser. Plenty of good names on the side for Bournemouth. Recognisable names from the Premier League. As Lerma switches it out to Falk, he must be a new signing in game. Adam Smith overlapping on the right. Back inside to Falk again. They're just toying with us out wide there. They play another one too. It's back to Lewis Cook. He finds Lerma who shoots, but it's blocked and we manage to get it away. Offside given as it hit Callum Wilson. 5 gone and we've survived so far, but it looks like it's going to be a long afternoon. So 15 gone. I have made a couple of slight tactical tweaks just to slow the pace down and time waste. We need to keep this score down as much as possible as Potts is beaten by a long ball. In towards Wilson. It's gone past. The referee's given a penalty. Chris Basham's fouled Wilson, has he? Just a little shirt pull, and VAR for the first time in this series really starting to cause a bit of trouble. I forgot how much I detest it as Wilson puts his penalty in the corner, and technology has cost us the first goal in this FA Cup tie, the Premier League side taking the lead. 20 minutes gone, we held off pretty well, but we haven't looked like threatening at the other end. Still in the first half an hour as Brad Smith throws it into Brooks. He picks it up again on the left, he's got so much time, beats the 2 defenders and Brooks back to Lerma, shot and it goes in via Sluga's hand. Didn't quite get enough on it, and now Bournemouth are romping to victory. Not even half an hour on the clock, and the home side lead 2-0. We're back with Basham. I presume he's taken that from a goal kick. Out to Potts on the left. Flicked on to O'Dowd. Can we finally create a chance going forward? Bournemouth just so much more energised. They're quick back and they've got a good shape here. Though Collins has been put in by Izzy Brown. Shoots from 25 yards. And Begovic halted at the second attempt. Good to see us create a shot on target though. At least we've shown a little bit of fight going forward. Is Craney at right back with a throw-in. He finds Ryan Tunnicliffe. Lerma nicks it off him though and Brooks can counter. We just can't cope with the pace and energy here. Into Wilson, he's already got one from the spot. Into the box on his right foot. Wonderful save by Sluga. Is another corner and we're hanging on for dear life here. This could be any score Bournemouth want it to be. Into Cook and he volleys it first time, but from the penalty spot he puts it over the bar. 10 to the break, it's still 2-0 and I'll be quite happy if we get to half time with this score. It's Smith on the left hand side with another throw. Lerma plays a 1-2 with him. So much attacking intent from Bournemouth and this could build their confidence very much. It's Smith on the right who crosses crosses again, Fraser with a header which Sluga palms down, and he holds it at a second attempt and prevents the rebound, and maybe we will hang on for two. We're back at the highlight ends, Sluga's tipped one behind for a corner I think, a bit weird, we've seen that a few times in this game, though Fraser's now going to deliver the corner. In towards the front post, Glenn Ray heads away on the edge, but Callum Wilson picks it up again, and Lewis Cook's got two on the right. He goes back to Steve Cook instead though, out to Falk on the right wing, crosses blocked, but it's back to Steve Cook. It's relentless pressure from the home side. You can tell the Premier League quality here as the crosses pour into the box, and Sluga finally manages to hold it, though the highlight's still yet to end. Rolls it out to Joe Worrell as centre half. He finds Potts the left back. So much high pressure from Bournemouth though Izzy Brown manages to beat it. He finds O'Dowda on the left. Back inside to Izzy Brown again, still not advanced past halfway, though it's a great through ball from Brown. O'Dowda's in and scores, but the whistle went, the flag was already up, and unfortunately it's still 2-0. A little bit of fight back going forward, but Bournemouth deservedly lead at the break. We're going to talk to the lads, we'll tell them it's disappointing, we've certainly not been at our best. I want to see where Bournemouth are in the Premier League actually, 13th at the moment but they're comfortably safe, 26 points off 24 games. It's Callum Wilson from the kick-off, puts it out for a throw, and we survive the first few seconds of the second half. We're back with another corner for Bournemouth. Just 2 or 3 minutes gone in this second period. Basham heads away only as far as Falk though, and Bournemouth are going to pen us in again. Out to Ryan Fraser, the Scottish international. Inside to Lerma. He finds Brooks and his shot's blocked. Really good challenge. It's out for a corner. But again, Bournemouth building their pressure. It's going to be taken by Ryan Fraser again. There's plenty of men piled into the area. Fraser delivers to the back post. Joe Worrell gets there and heads away. And Lerma manages to recycle possession and goes back to Adam Smith on the halfway line. 5 minutes gone in the second half and we survived the pressure so far, but it's still 2-0. We know we won't win this tie. It's just about keeping it respectable. It's Tunnicliffe inside to Glenn Raya. He's been mugged on possession on halfway. He might have to come off soon. He's not had the best match. As Brook beats him, he charges forward. Out to the left-hand side to Fraser. Got so many options, but goes back to Smith. He's got a chance to deliver here. Gives it away to Tunnicliffe though. Izzy Brown picks it up on the counter. Basham to Craney at right back. And we're going to have to think about changes in a moment. We just want to give us lads a fighting chance as O'Dowda picks it up on the left wing. Just play the simple ball, don't give it away. He finds Dan Potts. He's got two inside. One of them's Glenn Ray who finds him again. So many options, but we're being closed down quickly, and in the end the lads are being forced backwards, and then the switch of play we lose possession. It's Fraser and Blad Smith playing a 1-2. Long ball forward towards Callum Wilson. Craney just stops, I have no idea why. It's back to Brooks who's going to score, is he? He doesn't. Sluga saves it, but Wilson puts in the rebound. Though we go into VAR for a possible offside. Let's hope that it gets chalked off. It's chalked off, it's just 2-0, and Sluga will continue with a free kick. I've no idea why Craney stopped running there though. Little bit of a bizarre one for the defender. It's Glenn Ray with a long ball forward. He's giving it away yet again, and I can assure you he's going to be one of the men coming off. He's just not good enough to play at this level. It's out to the left hand side to Brad Smith again. It's just Bournemouth pressure relentlessly. It's really hard to cope with, particularly for my voice, as we've seen about 20 more highlights than usual. It's Lerma to Lewis Cook and now Brooks. Out to Fraser on the overlap. So much time for him. He beats one man. Sluga with a good save, though the starting position was poor. Falk picks it up again on the right. Delivers to the back post. McManaman clears. Izzy Brown with a chance to counter. And will James Collins make the run here? We got a chance to get in, but Collins was offside. The whistle will go any second. An hour gone, it's still 2-0, but we've wasted another chance to counter. We're going to make some changes, hope it shores things up, and then we'll try and get through the last half an hour unscathed. So let's have a look at who the poorest performers are. Callum McManaman on the right. So we've got Luke Bolton, the youngster that will come on for him. He's on loan from Manchester City. I'm tempted to take Craney off at right back, but I've not really got an option there. So I'm going to take off Glenn Ray in central midfield. Butterfield's going to come on for him. And Tunnicliffe will switch positions, I think. In fact, we'll just leave him as a ball-winning midfielder. And then off the bench, Kazenga Lualua can replace O'Dowda. He often gets goals off the bench, but I don't know if he's going to get enough chances in this game. But let's see if he can go and make a difference. 3 changes made with an hour gone, but Bournemouth still looking very comfortable. Just 15 left, it's still 2-0, and in the second half we've not actually been as bad. It's Dan Potts with a throw into Butterfield, plays a nice 1-2 with him. Another man on the transfer list, he's barely made an appearance. In real life he's been pretty decent for us, but he's just not got the rating on Football Manager. It's Butterfield going long along to the right hand side. Luke Bolton, the other sub, loses out though, and Harry Wilson off the bench for Bournemouth finds Brooks. He charges into the area. Back to Wilson again and now Smith. Plenty of overlapping runs from the fullbacks. Delivery which Basham heads away, but it only falls for Adam Smith on the right. He's got time and goes back to Lewis Cook, into Brooks on the edge, but it's over the bar and we survive again. Bournemouth could have had a hatful. It's Sluga with a goal kick short to Basham. Goes out to the right back Craney. We get to here and then we just get stuck by the pressure. Tunnicliffe finds Luke Bolton. Can he do anything off the bench? He's barely played this season. Tries to go in behind to Collins, but Nathan Aki costs 20 million quid and he's going to read that all day long. Though Brad Smith's giving it away at left back. Bolton holds it up for Craney. Can he find a central midfielder? Tries to go for an extravagant switch and Lua's not going to be fault to that, and now it's going to be a counter for Bournemouth. Basham clears it away down the left hand side. Adam Smith picks it up again though. We just cannot get enough pressure on Bournemouth. They're a yard quicker to every pass. Lewis Cook out to the right for Adam Smith. He's got Wilson making a run in the box. Can he deliver? He goes back to Falk. Might have a shot and does. Sluga does well to hold it to his right, and it remains 2-0 with just 10 minutes left. We're fighting hard and we've done our best, but we've just not got enough quality to compete. It's Harry Wilson with a delivery into the box. Potts head away as far as Steve Cook. Finds Wilson again. It's a really good finish. And there's the composure. Cook could have shot, but he just found that little through ball. And then Harry Wilson with his chicken celebration. It's been a comfortable day at the office for Bournemouth. We've fought hard and we'll encourage the lads. 3-0 wouldn't be a disaster. We're back with just 20 seconds left and Jack Stacey's made it onto the pitch at right back. Good for him to come up against Luton Town. I'm sure he'll get applauded off by the away fans. So switch of play from Bournemouth to Harry Wilson. We wouldn't like them to get a fourth here. We don't want to flatter them. They have dominated the game, but we'd like to keep the score respectable. The final whistle goes and it saves us from more humiliation. It's just a 3-0 defeat to Bournemouth. Not a disastrous result, but a pretty poor performance. We didn't really put up much of a fight. Though Bournemouth played a really strong team in that one, and that perhaps isn't too realistic. And in the other games in the Championship, we've not been helped at all. Both QPR and Nottingham Forest winning, and Charlton bottom with a game in hand. They can close the gap a bit as well. So just 6 points to the relegation zone there, which shows that we were right to rest players today. The media will obviously say that we got beat comprehensively and mention Jack Stacey against his former club. VAR intervened for the first goal, and that obviously set Bournemouth on their way. But Luton could be proud of how they performed today. It's good of Eddie Howe to say so. We'll deal with a press conference off camera, but let's go and have a quick look at the schedule. We want to see when we might next be back as we try to secure survival. A few big games coming up towards the end of the year, and hopefully we'll get the job done with time to spare. So the only real event left off the pitch before the end of the season is of course the youth intake around April, but for us we just want to get the season done in 2 episodes and make sure we survive pretty comfortably. So the first one is going to be sometime around March. We've got Wigan and Preston coming up early in the month. I think Preston at home would be a pretty good game, and it's exactly halfway between now and the end of the year. Though if you did enjoy this episode and a spirited effort against Bournemouth in the FA Cup, please do put a thumbs up on the video. We defended hard against the Premier League side, and it was the best I could have expected from our backup team. Let me know in the comments where you think I should try and spend the money in the next week. We've only got about £1 million. We're not going to be able to compete at the top end of the market, but if we can get in one bit of stardust, where do you think we should focus our attention? Subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content from our long-term story with Dorking Wanderers. We'll also have 2 episodes a week from this one with Luton Town until the season finishes in about a week's time, and then we'll start our second long-term story. It'll be the head coach as we've done in the last 2 years. I know a lot of you have been looking forward to that one, so I do hope you'll come and join me for the start of it. It combines 2 popular stories, a journeyman and a director of football challenge, so I'm really looking forward to getting going. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support of the channel. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for another important episode as we try and edge closer to Championship survival.